Hello, my name is Carl. Welcome to my workshop and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now you'll remember some time ago, a week or so ago, we were looking at the Mercer 10th gauge, and you'll remember that I said that there was a return spring in here I wasn't happy with, and that even despite the fact that I dismantled the unit, cleaned everything up, lubricated it, reassembled it, it still wasn't returning quite as snappily as I wanted. Now I managed to get hold of some springs for the unit, and I'll show you them now. Here they are. I wonder where they're made. So we'll have a go at fitting one of these springs to the gauge, and we'll see if it makes a difference. Just a little bit of light relief from the reams of gas turbine theory we've been ploughing through. And you might not be able to hear it, but it is in fact siling it down with rain outside, as my grandma used to say. It is a bit of a wet Christmas. I don't know about a white Christmas. However, it is warm and dry in the workshop. We have a nice hot cup of tea. So let's get on and see if we can sort this Mercer 10th DTI out. So here's the DTI, and I've got my little toolkit, my tweezers and instrument screwdrivers. So I needed a way to support this gauge so I could take the back off it without sitting it on the watch glass. So I've got this outer race rather from an old tapered roller bearing, which I use these as parallels on the milling machine and on the lathe. They're really useful as circular parallels. So I've discovered that the gauge will sit down inside there without touching the watch glass. It's just sitting on the bezel, which is a nice way to hold it while I take the back off. So I'll do that now, and you'll remember that there are 3 screws that secure this back in position. It's not quite holding it perfect, but it's better than it sitting down flat on the bench. Right. So that's the first one out. I'll put these down there. I think it's Bob Dixon who says that he doesn't put the screws in little trays or anything like that. He has kind of zonal areas on his workbench that he uses to put the parts in. Right. So once we've got this off, I'll bring you in a bit closer. The return spring in question is this one here. I'll bring you in closer now so you can see what's going on. Right, so here we are, a closer view of the inside of the mechanism. And you can see there the spring. Now I'll just get the replacement that I've managed to procure, and I'll show you it next to it. So I think it's going to be a good fit to do the job I want it to do. It's actually slightly shorter, so it's going to have a little bit more force on that lever there to return the mechanism. And I'm thinking that the best way to do this will be to actually remove that screw and take this kind of pawl type lever off with the spring, rather than trying to pull this up and wedge it in position in this delicate mechanism. I think the best thing is going to be to remove this. So we'll do that now. Right, so hopefully you have a pretty decent view of the interior of the DTI, and it's not going to go out of focus, I hope. Basically what I've done is I've put the instrument maker's vise in the Swindons on a piece of square bar, and then I've clamped the DTI in the instrument maker's vise just gently to hold it while I do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the spring off its anchor point here. Trying to work through the camera, so bear with me. Okay, so let's get that off there, which we've now done. We can take that spring. So I'm not going to have to remove the pawl after all. Right, I hope not anyway. So that's the spring off. There's the offending article, if it'll focus, which it has. Yeah, there we go. That's the old one. And here is the new one. Now I've just noticed that you can see those two ends of the spring are in the same plane, and in the old one they were actually 90 degrees opposed, so I'm going to have to do some slight modification to that, I think, before I can fit that. So I'll bring you back when I've done that. So I managed, not without some difficulty, to bend or to put the ends of the spring 90 degrees to one another, trying not to knock the camera as I do this. Put the spring on. Now you know what's going to happen. There we are. Right, that's on there. If I were to turn this camera off, I'd get this on straight away, wouldn't I? Right, it's on the pole. Let's see if we can get it on the pivots now. It wants to. But then, you know, this could all end in disaster, but I hope not. Yeah, come on you. Nope. Oh dear, that wasn't good, was it? Right, let's give that another go. Get it onto the pole first. So tempting to want to put your hands in here to do this. Doesn't come across all that well on the camera that it's actually almost impossible to get your hands in there. Right. Not a job if you've got sausage fingers, I tell you that. Never mind, at least if I put that in there, that might hold it. At least you're having a good laugh at me struggling. And you can probably hear by the tone of my voice that I'm really concentrating. Oh, it's coming out of the vise now. Hang on. We got to stop. Because we're going to lose it. Which is not what we want. At all. Right, let's give that another go. Right, I think I've got some kind of a system working here now. Right. Almost there. It's on. There's that. Yep, that looks not too bad to me. Oh, yeah, what a difference that's made. You can feel that straight away. Right, I'll get this out with this little vise and we'll have a look at the front of it. So I've got the gauge out of the vise now. Before I turn it over and show you the front face, I think you can see from this shot that that spring is actually under a little bit of tension there, slightly extended even when the pole's in the fully down position, and the plunge is at rest. So that's a good thing, I think. So I'll zoom you out now and I'll show you the front of the gauge and we'll see how it responds. So we'll turn it over. And I said straight away, I could feel the difference when I put that spring on. So, and that is now returning really sharply. It doesn't have any of the sluggishness that I could feel before. Even after, I mean, it was sluggish before I rebuilt it. and then afterwards it was still not just fully there, but now it definitely is. Yeah, you can feel that wanting to push back down, whereas before it was almost a weak force pushing down on it. So yeah, I'm very happy with that now. That's that gauge, in my opinion, back to if not as good as it was when it left the factory probably 70 years ago, at least as good as I can get it anyway now. And I'm happy with it, and I'll be more than happy to use it now. So there you go. All that remains to do is to put the back on it, and we'll close the video out. You don't need to see me put the back on it. So that's the end of the film, just a short and sweet one today. Just a little bit of an antidote to all the theory of gas turbines that I've kind of subjected you to on the last video. I'm just in the course of making another film now about gas turbine theory, so look out for that one. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching my film, and thank you very much to all the new subscribers that have come along in the last week or so. I've had about 15 new subscribers, so we're up to about 530 now, I think, which is pretty good for a modest little YouTube channel like mine. So thank you again for that. And stay tuned for the next gas turbine video. It's coming up in the next few days. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.